Good morning, everybody. Today I am going to discuss about the transistor H parameter model. We have already discussed about the RE model as a model for the transistor. So today we shall discuss about another important model known as the H parameter model. So this model is very popularly used for the analysis of transistor amplifiers. In fact, it is more accurate than the RE model. By approximations, the H parameter model can be reduced to the RE model, and we shall compare these two models. They boil down to almost the same model, although the different parameters have different names in each one of these models. A transistor is a two-port network, as shown here, with some input voltage here given as Vi and input current given as Ii, and output voltage V0 and output current as I0. It's a two-port model. A two-port network with the input voltage and current and output voltage and current defined like this can be expressed in terms of these voltages and currents. We can consider the input voltage and output current or the dependent parameters, and the input current and output voltage are the independent parameters, and we can express it. In fact, any two of these quantities can be expressed in terms of any two other quantities, and there are a few models which can be arrived at. But the H parameter model takes Vi and I0 expressed in terms of the other two variables. For example, this Vi can be expressed as some parameter, a proportionality constant H11 times Ii plus H12 times V0, and I0 is H21 times Ii plus H22 times V0. Please note that this kind of model is applicable only for linear circuits. So that means the transistor amplifier or the transistor itself, the transistor is considered to be a linearized circuit, and that is applicable only for small signals, because for small signals the characteristics can be approximated by piecewise linear characteristics, and you can approximate the transistor by a linear model. So that's why this Vi is given as a linear function of Ii and V0, and similarly I0 is given as a linear function of Ii and V0 here. And Vi, Ii are related by these two are input quantities, therefore they are related to this port 1, hence this parameter is given the suffix H11, whereas H12 is a relationship between input and an output quantity Vi and V0. So between port 1 and port 2, that's why it is H12. Similarly, H21 is a proportionality constant between I0 and Ii. So between the output quantity, port 2 quantity and port 1 quantity, therefore it is given as symbol H21. Similarly, H22 indicates the relationship between output voltage and output current, therefore it is given as 22. Now, if you look at the different quantities here, so you will find that, please note that in a two-port network like this with two excitations and two responses, for example these two are responses, Ia and V0 are the excitations. So when you have two excitations and two responses like this, and it's a linear circuit, so naturally there is a proportionality between each one of these quantities. So that is why it is expressed in terms of a linear model like this. Now let us look at the various parameters. What do they mean and how you can obtain them from the characteristics, and another thing is, given these characteristics, can we express it in a circuit form so that we can analyze it when you use this model in an amplifier circuit. Now look at the first equation here. So what is H11? H11 is Vi by Ii when V0 is 0. So when do you get, so V0 as 0, when you short circuit the output, so V0 becomes 0, and when this is short circuited, you excite it by some voltage Vi and you will get some Ii, or you excite it by some Ii and that one produces some voltage here Vi. So the ratio between these two is the parameter H11. The proportionality constant can be determined in this fashion. And we are talking about the alternating signal voltages and currents. And here V0 is 0 means the alternating signal V0 is 0. And alternating signal is 0 means the collector to emitter voltage VCE, for example in a CE amplifier, the output voltage is across from the collector to the ground, and if there is no emitter resistance, it is collector to the emitter voltage. So that voltage is held constant at VCE cube, at the quiescent voltage itself, and no alternating signal is allowed. That means here the alternating signal is 0, not that the DC signal is 0. This is a short circuit for the alternating signal alone. If you short circuit for the DC quantities, please note that the transistor goes into either the saturation region or cutoff region, and it does not work like an amplifier in that particular region. Okay. So the short circuit or open circuit, what we are going to talk about here, are meant for only the alternating signals. So when V0 is 0, so Vi by Ii gives you H11. So what are the units of H11? So naturally the units are ohms, because it is a ratio between input voltage and input current, and naturally it is input impedance Vi by Ii, it is equal to an input impedance. Does it give you the input impedance when this is open? No, when this is short circuited, V0 is equal to 0 and H11 is equal to the input impedance. Hence H11 is known as the short circuit input impedance parameter. Short circuit input impedance. So from equation 1, please note that when V0 is not 0, Vi by Ii does not give you H11, Vi by Ii gives you Ri, no doubt. How do you find the input impedance? Vi by Ii gives you the input impedance, but that input impedance is equal to H11. That is equal to H11 only when V0 is 0 according to this equation, but not otherwise. Hence H11 is known as the input impedance when the output is short circuited. Now similarly you have H12. H12 in this equation is H12 is a proportionality constant between Vi and V0, and and it is equal to Vi by V0 when Ii is 0. That means When you make the II 0, that means when you open circuit the input and excite some V0 over here at the output port. So whatever input voltage that appears at the open circuited input, so that voltage to this voltage ratio gives you H12. I repeat, H12 is Vi by V0 when the input is open circuited and when V0 is applied to the output circuit. Okay. So please note that given a transistor, if you are asked to determine the parameters, this is the way you can determine. Open circuit this, apply a voltage at the output, measure how much voltage, so you get here, and this voltage to that voltage ratio gives you H12. So definition as well as measurement procedure are both same and they come from the same point. Therefore, H12 is equal to Vi by V0 when II is equal to 0. So what are the units? There are no units. It is a ratio of voltage and another voltage. There are no units. It is a proportionality constant, and it is ratio between the input voltage to output voltage when II is equal to 0. What does it mean? When you excite the some voltage at the output port, it reflects in some voltage at the input, which we do not like, but then it does appear, and that voltage to the excitation ratio is this. So it is known as open circuit, so reverse transfer voltage ratio. Open circuit, reverse voltage transfer ratio. It is a transfer ratio because it is a ratio between the input quantity and output quantity. It is known as H12. Now, looking at the second equation, please note that the H21 can be obtained as a ratio of I0 to II. Output current to input current ratio is H21 when V0 is 0. That means when when the output terminals are short circuited, output current to input current ratio is H21. So what do we call the output current to input current ratio in the context of a transistor? So it is the current gain. So it is equal to a short circuit current gain. I0 by II is a short circuit current gain when V0 is equal to 0. I mean short circuit means V0 is equal to 0. So H12 is known as, H21 is known as the short circuit current gain. But please note that the current gain is applicable only in the context of an amplifier. If it is any general two-port network, in a two-port network, it does not give you any amplification as such. So it is only current ratio, output to input current ratio. Therefore, so this term H21 is going to be short circuit forward current ratio, forward current transfer ratio. Hence, H21 is equal to output current to input current ratio when V0 is 0, and this is known as short circuit current transfer So is it a reverse ratio or forward ratio? So it is short circuit forward current transfer ratio. This is H21. In the context of amplifiers, transistors, it is a short circuit current gain. And so there are no units because it is current ratio. Now from the second equation you can get H22 as I0 to V0 ratio when II is 0. That means when II is 0 means you open circuit the input, and when you open circuit the input and apply some voltage V0, so it results into some output current into the output port, and the current to voltage ratio, exciting voltage, the response I0 to excitation V0 ratio is H22. It is something like an output admittance. We define output admittance by the ratio of an excited voltage and the current, the input current. Input current means at the output terminals. So this is nothing but a V0 to I0 ratio, but under open circuit conditions. It is not exactly equal to the output admittance. Output admittance is V0 by I0 ratio when IA and VI are existing in an amplifier. But this is H22 is equal to the output admittance when the input is open circuited. Hence, H22 is equal to I0 by V0 when II is equal to 0, and the units are mhos because it is conductance or admittance, and this is known as open circuit output admittance. So these are the various parameters, what the parameters mean to us, and if you are asked to determine experimentally, so this is the way you can determine these parameters. So now the question is, how do they help us? So they do help us because once these parameters are known, the transistor is replaced by two linear equations, and by solving these equations, when an input voltage is applied, how much output voltage do you get, how much is the gain, and when there is an input current, how much of output current do you get, how much is the current gain, etc. All such parameters of interest can be obtained once you know this model. It is a linear model. So the difficulties with going to the characteristics, drawing straight lines and finding the slopes, etc., all such trouble is not there. Once the model is given, you can determine all these parameters. And these parameters are known as hybrid parameters because, so these are the hybrid parameters. These are hybrid between the output quantities and input quantities. Therefore, these are known as hybrid parameters. Plus, it's voltage current relationships. It is not alone in terms of currents and voltages, but it is in terms of a mixed current and voltages. For example, input voltage and output current are expressed as functions of input current and output voltage. So it is hybrid relationship between the voltages and currents. On the other hand, if you express Vi and V0 in terms of Iis and I0, you would have got a different relationship. Those are not hybrid parameters, but those are impedance parameters, because all those terms will have units of impedance, because for every quantity you will have the relationship between Vi by Ii or Vi by I0 and V0 by Ii and V0 by I0 kind of terms. So that is the reason why these are known as H parameters and it is known as a H parameter model. Now let us obtain a circuit model from these equations. These are mathematical equations. Let us represent these equations in a circuit form. Now please note that here this Vi input voltage is expressed as sum of two quantities. So this quantity is some voltage which is proportional to input current, and this quantity is a voltage source which is proportional to output voltage. Therefore, this can be H11 is a resistance, and you can see that Vi and H11 is a resistance which comes in series with a voltage source, and both put together is equal to Vi. That means between these two terminals you have a resistance and a voltage source, and that resistance is in series and the voltage source is also in series, and these two appear across these two terminals Vi. Nothing else comes into picture, and the only difference being this voltage source, the voltage of this voltage source depends on output voltage. It is a voltage dependent voltage source which comes into picture. Hence, between the input terminals you have a resistance whose value is equal to H11 and a voltage source whose value is H12 into V0. It is a voltage dependent voltage source. So this is equal to Vi. So please note that I have represented this equation in a circuit form. Please note that this voltage is equal to sum of two individual voltages, and this voltage drop is by flowing II, by passing II through a resistance whose value is H11, and is the voltage source itself. So the equivalent circuit for that equation 1 is this. Now please note that Vi now in this equation, in this circuit, Vi is equal to II into H11 plus H12 V0, that's equal to Vi, and that satisfies this equation. Hence, this is the circuit equivalent for equation 1, and please note that it has a voltage source, output voltage dependent voltage source. Similarly, from equation number 2 we can get the output side equation. So the output is a current, and this current is written as sum of two current components, and one current component is an input current dependent current, and the other current component is because of some admittance connected across V0. Okay, this current is equal to the summation of two currents. That means there are two parallel branches which goes out of it, in which case only I0 is equal to this current plus this current. So it has to be two parallel branches. So one parallel branch is a current source whose value is proportional to the input current, and the other current branch is as if there is an admittance connected across V0, and the admittance value is H22. Hence, the output side equation can be, the circuit equivalent can be expressed in this form, and this current is H21 II, input current dependent, or current actually, current source, and there is an admittance equivalent between these values, and the admittance is H22 admittance is H22 and the resistance is 1 by H22. So, if you represent it by resistance, it is 1 by H22. So, these are the output terminals. Now, if one of the terminals are common to both input as well as output, which is usually the case in many circuits and particularly transistor circuits, and if they are common, so there is a connection between them. If they are not common, of course, so these two are isolated in the diagram itself, because one it has dependent voltage sources which are related to the output voltage and input current and so on. So, that way they are related, they are not independent. So, I repeat, when one of the terminals is common between output and input, which is usually true, which is true in the case of the transistors, because the transistor is a 3-terminal device, and when you use it as an amplifier, either emitter is common or base is common or collector is common. So, that is why we have common emitter, common base and common collector amplifiers. So, since there are only 3 terminals, naturally one terminal is common, and if this terminal is common, so it appears like this, the equivalent circuit is. So, this is an equivalent network to represent these equations. Hence, a transistor circuit for AC analysis can be represented in this equation, in this network form. In general, in transistor terminology, we use this as HI, a symbol of HI for this parameter, and we use HR for this, HF for this, and HO for this parameter in the context of transistors. It is only a notational change, nothing else. So, this I indicates the input parameter, R indicates the reverse voltage ratio. Since it is a reverse voltage ratio parameter, R indicates that reverse out in that parameter description, and this gives you the forward current ratio to indicate that HF is used. This is the output admittance parameter, therefore HO is used here. So, this is the notation that is followed. Now, this kind of model can be used for the different configurations. For a common emitter amplifier, this kind of model can be used. For common base and for common collector also the same kind of parameter can be, model can be used, circuit model can be used. But please note that in each one of these cases, the various parameters are different, because the input impedance, whether under short circuit conditions or not, the input impedance is different for different models. We have already seen it for different configurations. We have already seen it. Therefore, these parameters are going to be different. Now, in the context of common emitter amplifier, when you discuss about CE amplifier model, H parameter model for a transistor, not amplifier, CE configuration, the model in H parameter model for CE configuration can also be expressed in that form, and to indicate that it is a common emitter configuration, we use E here. So, to indicate the common emitter configuration there. So, what does HIE mean? HIE is the input open circuit, short circuit input impedance parameter for common emitter configuration. HIB is for common base configuration. Similarly, HFE is the forward current transfer ratio in common emitter configuration. HOE is the output admittance, open circuit output admittance in common emitter configuration. And similarly, HRE is the reverse voltage transfer ratio in common emitter configuration under open circuit conditions. So please note that this model is slightly different from the RE model which we have seen. I will discuss about the comparison a little later, and now let me discuss about the typical values for these parameters. HIE is typically about 1.1 kilo ohms. So naturally it depends on the Q point. If the Q point is operated at low input current, HIE would be larger than this, but the typical value is 1.1 kilo ohms. HRE is very small. It is of the order of 0.25 into 10 to the power of minus 3. HRE is a voltage transfer ratio. It has no units. So when you open circuit this, if you apply some voltage here, 1 volt here, how much voltage appears at the input? So there is 0.25 millivolts appear across this. So output voltage does reflect at the input even when the input is open circuited, and that ratio is this much. And HFE, the current transfer ratio, is typically 50. For some transistors it is 100 or more than 100 also. The typical parameter is 50. That means given input current in common emitter configuration, output current is about 50 times roughly. And the output admittance HOE is 1 by 40 kilo ohms. There is a small modification here. I think this is all right. Yeah. Pardon? HOE is admittance. 1 by 40 kilo ohms means it is 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 5 mhos. So these are the typical values for the H parameters. Now if you want to analyze an amplifier circuit where a transistor is used, you replace the transistor by this model and analyze the circuit for current gains, voltage gains, input impedance and output impedance and so on. Now looking at these parameters, so please note that this ratio is a small, this is a small parameter between output voltage and input voltage under open circuit conditions. Rather it is between the input voltage and output voltage under open circuit conditions. It is a small parameter and this can be neglected as an approximation. This can be approximated to 0 volts. That means it can be short circuited because it is a small quantity, small proportionality constant, in which case there is only HIE here. And if the load resistance is much smaller than 40K, you can neglect this resistance also. This is of the order of 40K, and if the load resistance that is connected is much less than 40K, So you can see that almost the whole current, entire current passed through the load and nothing passed through, hardly any current passed through this 40K, in which case this can be neglected, and because of which the approximate H parameter model can be given in this fashion. On the input side, you have, with this replaced by a short circuit, this voltage source replaced by a short circuit, you have only HIE appearing here, and you have HFE II. So please note that this is the base terminal, this is the emitter terminal, and the common emitter configuration, and this is the collector terminal. And if you represent the input voltage by the base current IB, please note that this becomes HFE IB, or if you indicate this by II, it is HFE II. So this is IC, this is VBE or VI, this is output voltage V naught. So this is the approximate H parameter model. Now if you compare it with the RE model, please note that this model is equal to the RE model, approximate RE model, where this HIE is equal to, so HIE is beta RE, so HIE is beta RE, and HFE is beta itself. So this model, H parameter model, is same as the RE model. So whatever analysis we carried out for the RE model, the same thing can be used for the H parameter model also, but by replacing beta RE by HIE and by replacing beta by HFE. Now please note that the accurate RE model has a small r naught included, accurate RE model. So what is this r naught now? 1 by HOE is equal to r naught, that 40K. So this model is same as the RE model with, so these replaced by these quantities. And please note that the accurate H parameter model includes this reverse voltage ratio also, therefore it is more accurate than the RE model. Well, when characteristics are given, transistor characteristics are given, we can determine these parameters from the characteristics, or when the characteristics are given straight away, we can determine what is the voltage gain and how much is the input impedance by finding the slopes of the characteristics and so on, which is a cumbersome process. Well, when H parameters are given, we can solve these equations, solve the network and do the network analysis and compute the various quantities of interest. Now the question is, given the characteristics alone, can you determine the parameters? And the answer is yes, and this is how you can determine the parameters from the characteristics. So determination of H parameters from the characteristics. So this is the input characteristics with the voltage between base to emitter, and this is the base current, and these are capital VBE and capital IB, because it includes the alternating as well as the as the AC component, alternating as well as AC components. So the characteristics is something like this. So this is typically about 0.7 volts, and this characteristics is applicable when VC is 0 volts, when this is 10 volts, and when VC is 20 volts. This is the characteristics. Now let us say the Q point is somewhere here. So that means this is the IB cube and this is the VBE cube. Now, and let us say VCEQ is 10 volts. Now if you apply an input AC quantity, input voltage, so it will produce an output, an input alternating input current, because when the voltage is here, the current will be like this. When the voltage is this much, current would be like this. If there is a sinusoidal voltage impinged here, you will get a sinusoidal current impinged there. And when VC is kept constant at VCQ, that means the HIE is equal to, so this quantity divided by this quantity. If this is V1 and this is V2, and if this is IB2 and this is IB1, so HIE is V2 minus V1 by IB2 minus IB1. So this is the input AC voltage to AC current ratio when VC is maintained constant at 10 volts, VCQ itself. That means the alternating signal, output signal is 0 when VC is maintained at that. So HIE is the slope of these characteristics around the Q point. Now how do you get the other parameter HRE between, it's an input voltage to output voltage ratio when the input current is 0. When the input AC current is 0 means when the input is maintained at the quiescent value itself. When the input is maintained on this line, a change in the output voltage VC produces an equivalent change in the base to emitter potential. So when IB is held constant, if VCE is varied from say 0 to 20 volts, VCE by impinging an output voltage, then IB will vary between this quantity and this quantity. I mean VBE will vary between this quantity and this quantity. So HRE can be obtained by delta VBE by delta VCE, where delta VBE is, if this is V2 dash and this is V1 dash, so V2 dash minus V1 dash is delta VBE, and delta VC is, so this voltage minus this voltage. So let me call it as VCE2 minus VCE1. In this particular application, VCE2 is 20 volts, VCE1 is 0 volts. So here also this VC is varying between the output quantity, I mean varying around the Q point voltage of 10 volts. So if you apply an AC signal at the output which varies from 0 to 20 volts around the Q quiescent voltage of 10 volts, this much of VBE variation will occur even when IB is held constant at IBQ. And please note that HRE is that when the IB AC component is 0, that means when IB is maintained at IBQ, the VCE, the VBE to VCE ratio. So that's why it's equal to HRE. Similarly, the other two parameters can be obtained from the output characteristics, and I will discuss about it in the next class.